Okay, let's try and unpack this. It's quite something. Imagine a global pop icon, a name everyone knows. Reported net worth maybe $300 million. Sounds pretty solid.
Yeah, absolutely rock solid, you'd think.
But then imagine that same person is, well, tangled up in $31.5 million of debt. Debt they apparently can't just pay off. How does that kind of financial paradox even happen? That whole situation, that's what we're taking a deep dive into today. Our mission here is to explore this really complex financial picture for Justin Bieber. We're using insights from the article Justin Bieber is Broke, how he went $31.5 million into debt. We've pulled out the key bits, trying to help you understand not just what's going on, but maybe why it matters.
Exactly. And look, this isn't just celebrity gossip, though it's definitely intriguing. What's really fascinating, I think, is how it works as a case study. A pretty stark one. It's about financial management, or maybe the lack of it sometimes, even at the absolute top with huge earnings.
Right.
It kind of pulls back the curtain on how wealth really functions.
Yeah.
Or, malfunctions.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive straight into that first big number, that head-spinning detail. Justin Bieber, massive reported net worth, but grappling with $31.5 million in debt. It almost sounds, well, unbelievable, doesn't it?
It does.
How does someone pulling in hundreds of millions end up there?
Well, this is such a critical example of how public perception of wealth can be just completely disconnected from the reality, from financial health. What you see on the surface, the tours, the sales, the headlines about net worth, that can be worlds apart from the actual liquidity or the liabilities piling up behind the scenes.
Right.
Even with enormous earnings, if the planning isn't super careful, if the management isn't disciplined, well, high spending and unexpected events can just rapidly lead to serious debt. It happens faster than you'd think.
That really does clarify how misleading that surface image can be. And speaking of things that looked good on the surface, let's talk about the 2023 catalog sale. The figure reported was huge, $200 million. Most people would look at that and think, okay, problem solved, financial security, sorted.
Right, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
So why wasn't it the silver bullet it appeared to be? What were the hidden issues?
Okay, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because it highlights this fundamental dynamic. Assets versus liquidity, cash flow.
Okay.
So $200 million, yes, it sounds astronomical, but the article points out that, well, first, taxes took a huge chunk.
Of course.
Then substantial legal fees. And then there's the lifestyle, an incredibly extravagant one.
Right, the spending.
We're talking multiple mansions, a huge personal staff, private jets, luxury cars, all that stuff. Those things just rapidly ate away at the earnings.
So it wasn't just sitting in a bank account?
Not at all. It was basically a one-time cash injection. And crucially, think about this. He gave up the long-term, consistent passive income from royalties.
Ah, the steady stream.
Exactly. He traded that predictable flow for one big lump sum, which, as it turns out, wasn't managed effectively enough to cover everything. I mean, paying for multiple mansions and private jets, it's not just a cost, it's like a financial black hole.
Wow, like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain open, you said before?
Pretty much, yeah. It just pours out.
Okay, so that gives us the context for how the money could disappear, even a huge amount. Now, let's get specific about the $31.5 million debt itself. Where did that number come from? What are the pieces?
The article breaks it down pretty clearly. The biggest chunk, $26 million, that's owed to Hybe.
Okay, Scooter Braun's former parent company.
Right. And that relates directly to costs they fronted for the Justice Tour, which is then canceled.
Ah, the tour cancellation. Huge impact.
Huge. Then, on top of that, there's another $5.5 million in unpaid commissions.
Okay.
Add those together, and you get the $31.5 million figure. But here's a really important detail, a special clause in the agreement.
What's that?
He's not actually required to pay it back immediately. Repayment is contingent on future income.
So it's hanging over him, but not due right now unless he starts earning significantly again.
Basically, yes. And this connects to what we sometimes call debt triggers in finance. How specific legal contracts or big unforeseen events like a tour cancellation or even disputes with management can suddenly create these massive liabilities, even for stars who seem totally financially secure on the outside.
That's a massive liability just waiting. Wow. But then, okay, then we get this completely unexpected turn, a real twist, involving Hailey Bieber and her skincare brand, Rhode.
Yeah, this is a major plot twist, absolutely.
Tell us about that. It sounds like a potential lifeline.
It really does. The article details that Rhode, her company, was recently sold to ELF Beauty. And the deal. Valued at $1 billion.
Billion. Wow. Wow.
$1 billion. Now, Justin, as a co-owner and stakeholder in Rhode, he's reportedly expected to get around $50 million from that deal.
50 million. Okay, quick math. That's more than the debt.
Exactly. If that figure holds true, it's potentially just enough to completely wipe out that $31.5 million debt. It really looks like a strategic financial rescue mission, possibly orchestrated through his partner's success.
What an incredible and unexpected source for that potential bailout. It really makes you think differently about, well, how celebrity finances work now, the role of partners, diversification.
It does, profoundly. It really underlines how important successful partnerships can be, especially, with a spouse who has their own entrepreneurial skill and real business success.
Yeah.
That can be absolutely vital for stability in this, let's face it, high stakes and often very volatile world of celebrity finance.
Definitely shifting dynamics there. Okay, so beyond the Rhode deal, there's another interesting development mentioned. A rumor that Bieber might be getting full ownership of his music masters back.
Yes.
Apparently tied to the financial restructuring and Scooter Braun leaving Hybe. Why is that such a big deal in the music industry?
So getting your masters back, that is a huge power shift for any artist.
Right.
Massive.
Okay, what?
It means long-term, direct control. Control over all future licensing, how his music gets used in films, ads, samples, everything.
Right, he calls the shots.
He calls the shots. And crucially, he gets all the future royalties directly. They aren't split anymore with a label or management or whoever owned them before.
So it's about future income streams.
Exactly. This is vital for rebuilding long-term financial stability. It provides that steady, recurring income stream we talked about earlier.
Instead of relying on one-off sales or unpredictable tours.
Precisely. It's a really powerful move for an artist trying to reclaim control, both creatively and financially.
So it sounds like there are some potentially very positive financial moves happening or about to happen, the road money, the masters. But as we dig deeper here, it feels like this isn't just about the dollars and cents, is it? The article mentions observers, fans, even legal professionals raising concerns about Bieber's, well, his mental well-being, his decision-making. What's the context there?
Yeah, this is where the story gets much more complex and deeply human, really. The article brings up speculation about a potential conservatorship.
Like the Britney Spears situation.
Exactly, drawing that parallel. Now, if that were to happen, and it's speculation at this point, it would mean a court appoints a guardian, someone to manage his fortune, his major life decisions. Basically, it strips him of direct control over his own empire.
Wow.
And what's so fascinating and frankly concerning is seeing this intersection of extreme wealth, intense global fame, and these fundamental questions about personal autonomy and mental health.
That's a really sobering layer to all of this. Okay, so let's try and synthesize. Looking at this whole roller coaster, the shock of the debt, the catalog sale, the potential bailouts, regaining masters, these deeper concerns, what are the core lessons we can maybe pull out from this deep dive? What does this teach us about wealth, particularly at this level?
Yeah, I think looking back at the source material, we can pull out some pretty sharp insights. One, clearly, is that even a massive $200 million sale isn't some kind of financial magic wand, not if you trade long-term income for a lump sum that then gets, well, mismanaged or just spent too quickly.
Right, asset versus liquidity again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Two, watch out for those debt triggers. Things buried in contracts or big unexpected events like tour cancellations. They can turn into multi-million-dollar problems overnight, even for superstars. And three, maybe sometimes your best financial safety net isn't a team of advisors, but maybe a really savvy entrepreneurial partner, someone who builds their own empire and can potentially help bail you out.
Hailey's role seems crucial here.
It really does seem pivotal in this particular story. It's a lot to take in, isn't it?
It really is. As you, listening, reflect on all this, what part of it stands out most to you? What's the piece that makes you pause? It's been quite the journey we've traced today. From, the absolute peak of pop stardom and perceived wealth down into this really surprising financial hole. And now looking at this very unique path towards potential recovery, it definitely challenges the simple narratives we often have about celebrity fortunes, doesn't it? And the sheer complexity of managing wealth at that scale.
It truly does.
Yeah.
And maybe just to leave you with something to think about, given everything we've discussed, asset management, those debt triggers, the importance of partnerships, here's a provocative thought. Even if this current $31.5 million debt gets cleared, maybe by the Rhode deal, what's the next big financial challenge for an artist like Bieber, especially if some of the underlying maybe behaviors or spending patterns aren't fundamentally addressed? What happens then? Something for you to maybe mull over long after we finish here.